Soldiers of Shoot.
10 hut! Fall in line, you maggots!
Wow, General, are you all right? That was kind of half-assed. I got to say, I wasn't feeling that one. A little half-hearted this week on the open.
It's the music, man. When the music gets in my soul, I don't know what it is. I can't be as hard-ass for some reason.
Welcome to Soldiers of Shoot. Professional wrestling entrance theme song top 12 countdown of the 2010s. God, that is a long title. But that's what we're doing. So you can't be more descriptive than that. I'm Hollywood Edwards. Alongside me is General Stames, which you heard, and the Electric City Saint. Saint, how you doing this week? How you feeling?
I'm doing excellent. I'm really looking forward to part 3 of this. We're fresh off the heels of a very action-packed part 2. And bro, if you're listening to this and this is your introduction to us, I would definitely highly recommend listening to the first two parts of this, because this stuff was very entertaining. They were very good, fun shows to be a part of, and I think they'll be fun shows to listen to as well.
Absolutely. And as soon as we get all of them out, I'm going to put out a nice little playlist, so all songs will run in consecutive order, and you can have the whole thing right there. So it's so good that you're hearing it for the first time now, but trust me, you're going to want to go back and just listen to everything in consecutive order. It's going to be fantastic. YouTube, it's beautiful. Speaking of YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, share it, hit the notification bell, help us out. I want to thank everybody for listening so far and subscribing. General Stames, the amount of subscribers that we have 3 weeks into this thing, what do you make of it?
Bro, I'm happy. I'm happy that it's coming along, and I'm glad to see that people are listening, and it seems like people are enjoying the show. Now, something I just realized, I just looked at my notes here.
Mm-hmm.
You guys realize that of the first 7 songs, 5 of them were WWE songs? 5 of the first 7
wow, I
were
see that
WWE songs. That kind of surprises me.
You know what's interesting about that? Going into this, I didn't think that there would be that many WWE songs on this top 12 list.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I completely agree as well. I didn't really think we were going to have that many WWE songs, but it's just weird how it works out some ways, sometimes like that, you know?
Let's do a quick recap. Why don't you run them down, General Stames? Run down the recap of the 13 through 7 thus far.
Well, number 13 was Marty Scurll. What's the name of the song, guys?
One True Villain.
One True Villain. Number 12, Rising Sun, Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 11, New Day, and it's New Day, New Way, right, Bobby?
Yep, that's the name of the song.
Number 10, True Love.
Oh.
The Love of Maria and Mike Kanellis.
Mm.
Number 9, Somebody Call My Mama, the Funkasaurus. Number 8, Cult of Personality, CM Punk. And number 7, Kingdom, Cody Rhodes. And the Electric City Saint did a good job of getting you and me both, Edwards, Hollywood Edwards, to come around to that song.
No, he did a great job.
There you go.
Saint, you want to brag it up? Go ahead. I'm going to give you the floor. Brag it up. Tell us how we were wrong and you were right. Go ahead.
Bro, that was a hard sell, honestly. I'm honestly surprised I was able to convince you guys to change your tune about it. I mean, obviously it was not on any of you guys' list, but, you know, clocking in at number 7, I think, you know, it could possibly be lower, could possibly be higher, but I think it's right where it belongs, quite frankly. Very excellent song. All of these are, quite frankly, as well.
Well, so far we have 5 songs from the WWE, and that, I can safely say, changes today. Number 6, number 5, and number 4, we are about to reveal, come from the same company, and that is not WWE.
That's correct.
I will now pass it to you, General Stames, because this one you had very high on your list, which is how it made it to number 6 on our combined list.
Well, bro, I believe, and I'll listen to you guys make a case for anything else, but I think that the best wrestling story / gimmick of the 2010 through 2019 era was the genius of Broken Matt Hardy. What he was able to do in TNA, and let me say this, thank God that he was in TNA when this happened, because let's face it, guys, if he'd have been in WWE, that thing had never seen the light of day. There's no way. They gave the Hardys so much leeway on that. Those shows that were done out at the Hardy Complex were absolutely fantastic. Dude, every time they came on the TV, I couldn't wait to see it. And I never watched it only once. Whatever they did, even if it was a spot that was 3 minutes long with Matt Hardy and what was the Gardener's name, Hollywood? Remember the gardener out there? Senior what?
Benjamin, thank you. Senior. He's right on the tip of my tongue.
Skarsgård.
Vanguard 1.
Vanguard 1. Every time they did something, I watched it multiple times. I DVR'd every week so that I could go back and watch it over and over again. The song, number 6, that very high on my list, was the Jeff Hardy song Brother Nero. To me, it's musically, I think it's a fantastic song. I think it's his best song that he's done. You know, he's done a lot of his own music through the years. I think it's got, I don't know, it's got a rhythm, it's kind of catchy. It aligns great with the gimmick. I'm really impressed with this song. I'd like to hear what you guys think about it.
I enjoy the song, but I've basically, in my personal opinion, it's not one of the best themes that he's produced for himself. And that's the cool thing, too, when you think about it, that he actually is the guy creating the theme songs. This is I think this is actually one of the only, no, that's actually not true. But, this is one of the few ones on our list that the wrestler actually is the performer on the track. And I think that is very, very cool. And, what I really like about this too, it absolutely built upon the little piano thing they used to do with, I'll fade away and classify myself as obsolete. Like they kind of built upon that whole little piano thing that they used to do. And then, of course, it became a whole full-blown song. And that's incredible in and of itself that they were able to do that just with that little melody like that.
That Bound for Glory, when they entered the ring and Rebby came out in the long red dress and sat at the piano and played the song, was fantastic. It was fantastic. And, a lot of people for a lot of years killed TNA and Impact Wrestling because of Dixie Carter, and I get it. But there were, and you guys, I think, would agree, there were some things that went on in TNA Impact throughout the years that were absolute gold. And we're going to be seeing more of these things, I think, as the countdown goes on.
Absolutely. Now, this is what I wanted to bring up to you about Obsolete. I think as a song versus song, Similar Creatures by Jeff Hardy is slightly better. Just taking song versus song. Okay? Character-wise, Obsolete is more memorable. It was perfect for what they did. But I didn't put it on my list, and I gave it thought because I have both of these songs written in my honorable mentions list. So at some point, I was trying to work them in and putting them up against the current songs that I had. But it's tough for me to put this song in because I thought when they were just taking, like if you listen to the chorus of Obsolete, the one we're about to play, the last line of it, when he says, I'll fade away and classify myself as obsolete, he's got the two-part harmony going on there. The entrance that I liked the most out of the whole Broken Matt and Broken Jeff saga, if you will, was when they would just take the vocal line and it was looped. And he would walk down to that, and Rebby would walk him down, and she would say obsolete. And it wasn't a song. It was just him singing 2 lines of the song and her saying obsolete over and over and over and over again. And the reason that I love that so much is because when you watch it and you hear it, it makes you feel crazy. Like it puts you in the frame of mind of the characters. And the reason that I couldn't put that on is because I felt it's not a song. It's not an entrance theme. Like, I struggled with Jeff Hardy. You guys don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm saying enough about it, because I really wanted to put that on. I'll fade away, I classify myself as obsolete. Obsolete! I'll fade away, I classify myself as obsolete. Obsolete! Like, you'll go nuts if you listen to that too long. But it's perfect for what they were doing.
Think about, excuse me, how that all evolved. I mean, because we're talking about the Brother Nero song, Obsolete, evolved from what you were just talking about, just those 2 lines.
Right.
That they would say, and then the obsolete. But that evolved just from Matt Hardy referring to Jeff Hardy as the obsolete mule.
He's the obsolete mule. Dude, those guys are geniuses. They're geniuses.
Listen, if you're out there listening to this and you have no idea what we're talking about, I'm telling you, go on YouTube and try and fit that stuff all together chronologically and watch and listen to it. It is, I think, and you guys tell me, was there a better storyline / gimmick in that 10-year period? Can you name something better?
Oof. I'd say easily, to answer your question, no, if I'm looking at creativity and originality. Like, you can argue the Summer of Punk. There's not many. But hands down, it was the most creative, original thing that I've ever seen, possibly ever, in professional wrestling. Like, dude, these guys did something so bizarre, and they didn't have to. They're legends. Guys, think about this. How long have they been wrestling? They're Matt and Jeff Hardy.
Right.
And they took who they were and totally 180'd it into some crazy world that lives in Matt Hardy's body. Like,
bro, and that,
it's amazing.
What was the big war? What was that called?
The Great War.
The Great War. Dude, and then Jeff Hardy he's moving into Willow, and he's moving into that other what was that other character, the southern guy that he would do too.
What was it? Screech, I can't remember his name now.
Well, we'll mention it after the song.
Lil Q's listening to this right now, screaming at us, screaming his name. Itchweed.
Itchweed, that's it. Okay. So he's transitioning into Willow and Itchweed, and then back into Jeff Hardy. Dude, what a fantastic thing that was. I mean, the lake, again, the scars. I mean, all of it. You tell me the last time that you saw anybody make an old broken down rowboat into a character. I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Electric City
Inanimate
Saint.
objects were characters.
That's amazing. Electric City Saint. You, wait, just something just popped in my head. I'll get to you, Saint, in a second. Do you remember the spot where the drones show up at Jeff's house? And he has the guitar, and he's swatting at the drones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saint, you were watching at that time period, right? What did you think of all that?
Bro, that is some of the most creative and unique things that the professional wrestling produced in the last probably 10, 20 years. It's very difficult to be unique and do something new, I think, in this day and age, because let's face it, everything, quite frankly, has been done before. And they took something that, I think people originally thought, what in the hell are they doing? And they made it gold. Like, I think those 2 guys, with Rebby and, of course, Senor Benjamin, I think them four, like, they were the perfect group. That they'd be the only group I think that could actually present that and make it good. I don't think, like, if you handed this like angle and the whole storyline and everything and the characters to somebody else, I don't think they could do it justice. They just, everything about it was perfect. They have that chemistry, obviously, because they're family, they're brothers, and you know, it definitely was a bright spot in TNA in previous years. I think not long after that is when I kind of dropped out of TNA. I really have not watched it in quite some time, because I feel like right now, as far as the roster is concerned, they don't really have anybody I really give a shit about, as awful as that sounds. They don't really have no star power, in my opinion.
Yet they have Pentagon Jr.
Not anymore.
Bro, even Scribe. Do you remember Scribe? I mean, come on, man.
Electric City Saint, do you remember Scribe?
Yeah, ain't that the
Yes,
guy
it is.
that was in CWF?
Yep.
He won't be mentioned, but we know who he is.
Yeah, but even that was good. And Scribe did good too. Good job too.
He actually really did good with that. I will say that much.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, and you
if
know,
you look past all the other stuff, like, you know, that went on in CWF with all that stuff, which I'm sure a lot of people might not know about that unless if you're Joe White. But bro, he has a presence to him that I think he really nailed the Scribe character. I think he's the only guy that could have done that also, because I think he's friends with the Hardys, of course. I think he had that personal connection that, you know, if they just had some random guy that works for TNA do that character, I don't think it would have the same effect to it as, you know, having him do it.
Right.
I was going to say they took that gimmick and they were actually going to other promotions and wrestling.
Sure, yeah.
And defending belts and winning belts. It was a very fun time in professional wrestling. But we saw that when they came to WWE, then WWE even tried to, you know, harness some of that momentum. And, you know, in typical WWE style, it ends up being a watered down nothingness. And you know, never really stood out, did it?
No, of course not.
I think Jeff Hardy as an actual musical artist is extremely underrated. The guy's put out several albums already, and I think he's looked down upon because of being a professional wrestler. But I think if you like look past all that, his band, what's it called, Peroxygen or something, I think it's called, bro, he really does have a lot of incredible songs, and I think he has a great voice to him. You know, I know a lot of that's kind of like mixed and it's produced and kind of edited a little bit, but he actually has a very unique voice, and I think, you know, as a total performer, he's very good at what he does, I would say.
I am changing every single move you're making. Sense of analyzed predictions far beyond the comprehension. I've been tortured with arriving, thus to stop the star from shining. Kill me now before I'm sober, so I die before it's over. My skin's dying because you're under it. I'm done lying to myself for this, for all the wonder and believing that it's making me weak. I'll fade away and classify myself as obsolete. My skin's set in my stone, I am changing every other move you're making. Sense of dramatized inflictions that intensifies this tension. I've been tortured with denying what's on
Number 6, Brother Nero, Obsolete. Guys, we are entering some TNA territory right now on this show, because the next song was on 2 of our lists. But boy, this song I had very, very high on my list, and I'm about to catch some major heat for this.
I don't think you will. Maybe you will.
People out there listening, if you want to give me some heat, put it down in the comments. The reason why I may get killed for having this so high on my list, I believe this was number 2 on my list. Turns out, General Stames, you also had this pretty high on your list. And the last song, Electric City Saint, you mentioned this is a talent performing the song, as in the case of Jeff Hardy. Number 5 shows us another talent performing their song. And this is Mickey James, Hardcore Country. I hear it. I hear the boos already. I can hear it. I can hear the fingers typing right now. You gotta be kidding me. Listen, this is one of... I had this number 2, I believe. Number two, I had this on my individual list. This song is perfect for the character that she was playing in TNA, which I would say the character is her, like 100%. This is perfect. She's a country singer, people, okay? And she actually put this song as a bonus track on her CD. Okay, so I'm assuming that they wanted to use this specifically for her ring entrance because it was a bonus track. But this is so perfect for her. And guys, I don't care. I'm sorry, but if you're playing a gimmick that is an extension of yourself, which in this case is a kick-ass Southern country belle, then say no more. She nailed it on this. And that's why I think it's so perfect. And oh, by the way, the song actually sounds like it would be on country radio FM somewhere. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, probably because it was on country FM radio. I mean, the song was actually, it had a little bit of a following, even though it was, quote unquote, just a wrestling song or entrance song. It's a very good song. It's a good country song. It's got great rhythm, great melody. I'd like to hear what the Electric City Saint has to say about it.
It was not on my radar as far as my top 12.
Boo! You suck. Boo! Boo!
Why do you hate women?
Sexist. Sexist Saint.
Bro, it wasn't on
the
my
sexist
list,
city saint.
It wasn't on my radar. However, it is actually a very good track, and there's a very cool music video that they produced for this as well. That it definitely comes off as very professional. It definitely sounds like, as you guys attested to, something that you would hear on country music radio. And I will go on record as saying I think I always liked this side of Mickey James better. This character, I think it's a lot better than what she was doing in WWE. It's a lot more natural, and I think as we said, it basically is an extension of her real life personality. I don't think she has to phone it in or do too much acting or do anything too unnatural with it, because this is totally her, and this entrance theme, for her it's absolutely perfect. And I think, even though it's not on my list, it definitely does get bonus points, I would say, for her being the actual performer on it, because she is a very talented woman. I think, as far as country music goes, if she wasn't doing professional wrestling, if she dedicated her career solely towards country music, she would be a hell of a top star, I think, for that genre, because, she just has that star power to her, I think. And I don't think a lot of female singers in country right now really, are quite up there with her. Like, she blows them all away, quite frankly.
Bro, and it starts out, I mean, just the very start of the song starts out with just who she is. I mean, Hey, hey, can't you see? I'm a rockin' Southern girl running wild and free. And if the Saint wouldn't have said something nice about her, I would have went right down there and said, I'll be kicking your ass back to its roots. Just like Mickey James said in his song.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we need to discuss this too, guys. This was released on the label TNA Entertainment, I believe they called their music gimmick. Which means that someone was involved in the production of this song. Should we get into the love fest now that we all three of us have for Serge Salinas?
Well, it's going to come out sooner or later, and I mean, we may as well get into it because I have a feeling that we're going to hear a couple of more songs that Serge is involved in. Let's face it, dude. Him and who's the other guy that works with TNA?
Dale Oliver.
Dale Oliver. Those two guys are very talented.
Now I'll say this: I think the first, as soon as Hardcore Country starts, you hear the Hardcore Country. I think that's Serge.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, those are two talented guys, and we're going to see some more songs, I'm sure, in the countdown. Excuse me, that those two guys were involved in. They do a great job. Right up there, I would dare say. Right up there with the WWE. I think a lot of the music they do is just as good as you see in the WWE.
Oh, totally. And it's funny that, you know, she's in WWE. She started in WWE. They obviously know that she can sing country. And if you look at her now running around with Alexa Bliss, it's almost like she's doing this Valley Girl act gimmick. The way she's talking, you could barely tell she's Southern. The way she's taught, like she's burying the accent, doesn't make sense to me. Because in TNA with the Hardcore Country and her with the short tied up flannel around the navel and stuff, it was perfect because that's who she is.
And bro, let me direct our fans too. If you do like this song, you got to go to YouTube. You have to check out the song "Somebody's Gonna Pay."
Oh. Side conversation we had here, Saint. Bear with us here.
And see our boy Nick Aldis, Magnus, in that video. And is Trish Stratus in that video too?
Yes, she's the bartender.
Trish Stratus is in the video too. That video is very entertaining to watch. If you're a wrestling fan, you'll enjoy it very, very much.
Picture this.
Somebody's gonna pay.
Somebody's gonna pay. Nick Aldis is the guy in the bar.
The love interest.
Well, I wouldn't say love interest. He's the jackass that you see hitting on your girlfriend. And he plays it perfect.
Great job by Aldis.
Have you seen that, Saint?
I have not seen it, but I know for a fact that Aldis is an incredible actor. He definitely can do that like douchebag type character perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, listen, make sure when this show's over today that you go watch the video on YouTube, Somebody's Gonna Pay, by Mickey James. Fantastic.
Are you guys ready to rock out to some Hardcore Country?
You got it. I'm ready.
Number 5, Mickey James, Hardcore Country.
Hardcore Country! Hey, can't you see?
I'm a rockin' Southern girl running wild and free.
Hey, y'all walking through the door.
High class style country to the core.
Hardcore Country!
Backwoods or uptown.
Hardcore Country!
Rocking your world with a thrill-billy sound. Heels and stones, Junior and Jones. One thing I'll always be with
Hardcore Country!
Hey now, listen up. I'm not the kind of girl that ever gives up. If anybody tries to bring me down, they'll be picking themselves up off the ground. 'Cause my rhinestone Luke Casey boots will kick your ass back to its roots.
Hardcore Country!
Backwoods or uptown,
Hardcore Country!
rocking your world with a thrill-billy sound. Heels and stones, Junior and promise me I could be a bad dream or your fantasy. Try to bring me down to your white trash level and you find yourself dancing with the devil. Don't matter if I win or lose, still be kicking your ass back to its roots. Hardcore country, backwoods or uptown. Hardcore country, rocking your world with a thrillbilly sound. Heels and stones, Junior and Joe's. One thing I'll always be is hardcore country.
Hey, can't you see? Rockin' Southern girl in designer jeans. Hey, y'all in a 4x4. Diamonds in a hard country to the core. Hardcore country.
Backwoods or uptown.
Hardcore country.
Rocking your world with a thrillbilly sound. Heels and stones, Junior and Joe's. One thing I'll always be is hardcore country.
All right, next up, number 4, we got a big one. This was the trifecta, per se. All three of us had this on our list. Big pick.
This is
It
huge.
is. It is Evil Ways by Blues Saraceno, AJ Styles.
So good.
Bro, this song right here, I had this very high on my list. I absolutely love this track, whether this would be a professional wrestling theme or not. I just actually love listening to the actual song. It is the perfect musical accompaniment to AJ's darker anti-hero character that he had in 2003, you know, like when he was feuding with the Aces and Ace and all this stuff, and he really didn't know what the hell he was going to do. He was very much that lone wolf. And, you know, what I really love about this is it's this really badass, like outlaw country rock that, you know, it typifies the rougher and more mysterious side of country music. And I think that works very well with what he was doing at the time in TNA. You know, and another thing I really love about it too is, of course, the guitar solo in this thing. And, you know, here we are, Soldiers of Shoot. They also had that military style drumming in the middle of the song that I think is just so freaking awesome sounding, bro.
Badass. Totally badass.
Tell me, Hollywood, you're a big Sons of Anarchy fan. I mean, could you hear? I mean, would this song be something that you could hear in Sons of Anarchy?
Well, yeah, even their theme song, it wasn't, I wouldn't say dark country, but it had that country rock kind of feel to the theme song. You know what I mean? So it fit perfectly for what they were trying to do.
Bro, how about this guy's voice? It's very unique, and it's really interesting. It almost sounds like something, you know, as far as like it just sounds like something that you would really hear in like a very good outlaw country, like, or even like a southern rock band, but it has this really like edge to it, you know. With this song, it sounds, you know, it really does sound like something you would hear like in a western, like building up towards that big shootout.
Oh, totally, yeah.
If you think about it too, pro wrestling really is like the shootouts you see in these films. You know, they build up towards, you know, the big showdown in the ring, you know, with of course with like promos and everything else that leads up to it. You know, it's very similar to the Wild West, like with them type of films.
Totally.
When you think about it, the song kind of had a sound to it that you could almost liken to the song that the Aces and Eights came out to too. And in the show at the time, I think they were playing that, you know, he was that anti-hero where you weren't sure which way he was going to go. Was he going to be a face? Was he going to be a heel? It was the perfect song to bring him in that storyline. It really was.
That's the thing that, man, just that whole period of TNA. People want to say, well, the Aces and Eights are Sons of Anarchy ripoff, whatever. It doesn't matter. It worked. Professional wrestling is supposed, to me, guys writing professional wrestling that are actually paying attention to pop culture and the rest of the world it's supposed to reflect what's going on. Like there used to be a time in pro wrestling where if something was popular, like say, I don't know, Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik, you know, that was done for a reason. Okay.
Well, yeah.
So it's no shock that they decided to put a bike club together, you know, and what they did, like the sound of the themes, it was outlaw. Let's face it, bike clubs, they're outlaws on horses. It's the Wild West, you know? And like you said, Saint, AJ Styles, was he on board with them? Was he not would he join? Would he fight? Was he the leader? Was he just coming in for another reason? That whole thing that they played up with that song, as soon as you hear the opening guitar notes, do 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 do, you can picture the town in the West. Mm-hmm. And the boots, you know, the guy coming out of the saloon, you know, for the big showdown. It's perfectly done. Perfectly done. Kudos to TNA for...
Bro, you could see the tumbleweed blow by.
Sure, exactly. They did a perfect job. Kudos to Bischoff and TNA. That whole thing was just awesome. Anderson, Bully, AJ, the whole bit. It was great.
That was one of my favorite storylines in TNA, and what AJ was doing was very akin to Sting back in WCW,
yes.
With the NWO. You really didn't know, like, where his allegiances lied. Was he an NWO guy? They constantly practically teased it like he was. I mean, they had the fake Sting. And you know, in the end, of course, he ended up being WCW savior, of course, and you know, they kind of did something very similar with AJ with the Aces and Eights thing. And bro, let's be honest, right here and now, this storyline, this gimmick, this whole group, WWE would have destroyed this. It would have been a disaster. TNA and this group of select guys that they had doing this whole thing, they're the only people in the business that I think that could have pulled that off. I don't think it would have worked in Lucha Underground. I don't think it would have worked in WWE, of course. And, you know, as far as like, you know, any other companies like the NWA or Ring of Honor, I don't quite think they would have been able to do it with the people that they had. They just had the perfect, like, select group of guys that, you know, it almost really did seem like if you didn't watch wrestling before, if this was your first time watching, you would really believe that they were really like a biker club or whatever. It really felt like it was very natural to them guys. It didn't seem like they were really phoning that in or anything. It actually really like came off like it was like legit.
And that group dominated TNA for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, they played it through. There's another thing, you know, the WWE would never let something like that last a year, and we know that from the Nexus. I mean, that thing came and went faster than shit.
Yeah.
In fact, when I just heard the Saint say, you know, if the WWE would have had this, they would have blown it. In my mind, I could see, and Hollywood, you remember this, and this is what I think of when I think of WWE and how they botched things. There's like moments that your mind picks out.
Sure.
Do you remember the moment where they were setting up Sheamus as this badass heel, and he was just beating up everybody? He was just steamrolling people one after the other. Well, then they bring in the Nexus, and the Nexus shows up in the hallway one night with Sheamus, and Sheamus looks at them and begins to shake, and he yells, John, as if calling out to John Cena, and runs away. You talk about killing a character. You talk about no character protection. That is the shit that WWE will do from time to time. That is just absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, and TNA, man, they crushed it with this. And this is why entrance theme songs are so important. And the guys that are behind the theme songs are so important, because when you have a guy, I'm going to assume Bischoff gets this idea in his head, puts it to pen and paper, okay, has his producers under him execute it. The characters involved execute it to perfection. Then you write in the babyface, mysterious, what's he going to do? And then you add that theme song on top of the Aces and Eights theme song. It's a perfect example of everybody doing the most excellent job that they can do at their part of the story. And it all came together perfectly.
And I'm sure there were other great stories that were going on during that time, but it's hard to remember anything but this. Like your mind goes back to that night when Taz took off the coat, and there he was. He had the vest on.
Yep.
Oh man, you're like, oh my God, Taz is a member too.
I'll just say this much: like, if I was personally pitched to create a theme for like a darker, edgier, grittier AJ Styles, this is exactly what it would come to mind and how I would want it to sound. I personally kind of think that, you know, I kind of wish he had a song that was more similar to this in WWE. Quite frankly, I have nothing against his current theme, but I think something like this would, if he plays a heel character again, would definitely, you know, really benefit him. I think it would make more sense. I'll just say one last thing. This song is just simply phenomenal.
I see what you did there. Phenomenal. Number 4, AJ Styles, Blue Saraceno, Evil Ways.
It's been so long, long hard days. They don't say God's changed my ways, change my ways, those evil ways. So I set out across that way. Strike them down to make them pay and change their ways, their evil ways. But I can't my evil ways. But I found out their hate grows cold. That God rise up, damn my soul. 'Cause I ain't changed. Change my ways. I ain't changed. But I can't my evil ways.
Man, that's a kick-ass song. Saint, admit it.
Yeah, bro, it was very high on my list. That song is about as kick-ass as it gets, bro. Absolutely love it.
Happy TNA Day, 6, 5, and 4. Brother Nero,
Unbelievable.
Obsolete, Hardcore Country, and AJ Styles, Evil Ways. General Stames, can you run down the rest of the card so far that we got?
Starting from number 13, Marty Scroll. What is it? One
True Villain. Yep.
Rising Sun, Shinsuke Nakamura. New Day, New Way, New Day. True Love, Mike and Maria Kanellis. Somebody Call My Mama, the Funkasaurus there. Call the Personality, CM Punk, Kingdom, Cody Rhodes. And then into today's show, which was a clean sweep
Yes.
for TNA Impact.
Surge.
Wow.
Surge.
So what do we got? We got WWE now has 5. We got now TNA Impact with 3.
Mm-hmm.
You got ROH, Marty Scurll. What would you call that, ROH?
Yep.
With one, and then you have the Kingdom song. I guess what would you call that? Was that AEW? Is that Indies? What is that?
Saint, what is that?
Would that be ROH?
I believe I would classify that as ROH, but of course, he's been in the NWA, he's done the Indies. Of course, AEW is starting up before we know it, so I believe it could fit under any category, quite frankly.
Okay. We have arrived, gentlemen. The final 3 next week. The
I can't
people,
wait to see what they are.
the people are gonna go crazy. You subscribers, you're gonna go nuts. Wait till you hear 3, 2, 1. You're gonna Hardcore Country at 5. You're giving me heat. Wait. You might have a lot of heat to give the 3 of us coming up next week.
Bro, I would love to hear, and I'd love to hear the reaction that we're going to get for that show next week. Because I want to know, are the fans going to be singing the praises of our picks, or is it going to be the day the music died? We'll have to tune in and find out, bro.
Good job. Stames?
I guess we'll see. I mean, it's been a blast so far. Next week is the big week. Number 3, 2, and 1. We'll find out what our number 1 pick is for the 2010 through 2019 10-year decade. It's going to be a very exciting time. And I'll tell you this. The song that is number 1 was chosen and was put on the top 12 list of all 3 of us. It made all 3 top 12 lists. Dismissed, maggots.